Hey guys, I hope you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. I welcome you to all my videos. I hope that you guys enjoy them as much as I enjoy making them for you. And I hope that you guys learn from them, which is the most important thing with all my videos. I just want you guys to gain some knowledge or some new wisdom from it that you didn't think about before. Today I wanted to speak to you guys about INFJ intuition. I've been getting a lot of comments from you guys about it, and one of the things that I wanted to share, especially for someone who's dating an INFJ or who knows an INFJ or who is an INFJ, is that you're not going to know how you know what you know. INFJs don't know how they know. I know things, but I'm like, I have no idea how I know. My ENTP friends are always asking me, how did you know that? And I think to myself, I have no idea. I just don't know how I know, but I know that I know. Anyways, I'll give you a quick story. So I was obviously in Bogota, in Colombia with my sister just recently. She hasn't been on a holiday in a long time, and I just wanted to take her somewhere nice, somewhere different, just to kind of, jazz things up a little bit, change her perspective, and then she can come back, re-energized and get back to work. But one of the things that she really wanted was a pair of suspenders. For some reason, she's been obsessed with BTS, which is a Korean pop group, and they wear suspenders, and she loved it. And she's like, I want to wear suspenders, but I haven't been able to find them anywhere or find them for cheap. And obviously, I don't think suspenders are really in right now. Maybe in Korea, but not here. And so I was like, okay, let's find them here. Let's find them in Medellin. We were in Medellin, and we were like, okay, let's find them here. I think we'll find them here. I don't know why I knew. I don't know how I knew. But I was like, let's find them here. I think we will. And so we were walking around. We were walking around in the busy area where there's a lot of, street stalls selling random shit. And there was this one stall run by this older gentleman. He was maybe in the 60s, 70s with his wife. They were both sitting there, cutely adorable couple, sitting there and selling belts. Okay. For some reason, I was like, I think he has suspenders. Now, I didn't know how I knew. I didn't know how I could explain it to her, but I was like, I think he'll have suspenders. So I was like, okay, let's go talk to him. And so we walked up to him, and I showed him a picture of it on my phone because I didn't know what to say in Spanish. And he's like, yeah, I have them. And he pulled out a bunch of suspenders from beneath his stall, and it was like hidden, and obviously he hadn't taken it out in a while because it was dusty. He took it out, and he showed us a bunch of different things, and we bought one pair for 10,000 pesos, which is like $2. No, not $2, $4. $4 Canadian, right? It's 2,500 per peso, per Canadian dollar, sorry. So we got one pair of suspenders for my sister that she'd been looking for $4, right? Now, how did I know? My sister's like, how did you know that they'd have suspenders? I was like, he's older. I would imagine that he used to wear suspenders when he was younger, and he still does perhaps, and perhaps he keeps them for his older friends who probably wear them still. And, I try to explain my reasoning to her. Now, when INFJs try to explain their reasoning or their intuition, sometimes we're able to get it. And I was like, yeah, that's a reason, because he's older, and because I imagined that he had it for his friends, blah, blah, blah. I was able to explain myself, and I realized that was the reason. Now, until I tried to explain it, I didn't know that was the reason. I just knew that he would have them. I just knew it. Now, of course, that could have turned out that he didn't have them because he ran out or something like that. But for some reason, I knew he had them, and he had them. So it worked out well. My intuition was spot on. How did I explain it to her? I explained it to her because I thought he was old, and I tried to make a reason out of it. Was that the reason my intuition came up with it? I have no idea. I'm just making up stuff right now, right? That's the problem with an INFJ intuition. It's brilliant. Absolutely freaking brilliant. And I love our intuition to death. I love my intuition because it tells me all this stuff that I had no idea even existed. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I know this about this person. I know that about this person. I don't know how I know. I don't know how I know this. I don't know how I know that, but I know that it's true. And if someone asks me for it, I know that it will be true. Now, I don't know how I know, right? One of the things I've started doing, because I'm always so wary of the fact that I'm like, how do I know this stuff, right? So what I've started doing is explaining my intuition to myself. I don't do it for anyone else. It's my own thing. But if I know something and I'm like, I really think this is true, I try to explain to myself how I know it's true, right? It's one of my things for myself, because once I can explain it and I can see the logicality behind it, the rationality behind it, I can see the logical steps behind it, and I can see how I came upon to that conclusion, then I can be like, oh, right, that makes sense. And I begin to trust my intuition a little bit more as time goes on, right? And so this is one of the things I've been doing for the last 2 or 3 years. As soon as something intuitive comes upon me, I try to explain it to myself. How do you know this, Boom? How do you know this, Shikha? I talk to myself, as I do all day long. I'm like, how do you know this? And I try to explain to myself how I know what I know. Now, this started, obviously, as I told you, is because my ENTP friends were always asking me, but how did you know that? How did you know that? They're like baffled by it. They're like mystified. It's like the biggest mystery to them. But how did you know that? And so I started explaining myself to my ENTP friends in the beginning. And I realized that just explaining myself, just kind of thinking about my thought processes, just thinking about how I came to that conclusion, how my intuition came to that conclusion, just kind of going through that process of explaining to myself how I got to that conclusion was so important. It actually kind of completely changed the paradigms in my head. I started understanding and believing in my intuition more because I could see the logical steps that it went through in order to get to that conclusion. Now, of course, our intuition is so powerful that it doesn't actually perhaps go through all those steps like consciously. It happens unconsciously and happens in a way that we're not even aware of, and it just happens so automatically and so instantaneously sometimes that you think to yourself, how do I know this, right? That's one of the reasons I think why INFJs have such a hard time trusting their intuition. I've said this before as well in the previous video, that we kind of are always testing our intuition, because we don't trust it. We don't trust our intuition because it's so freaking powerful and so instantaneous and automatic, and we think to ourselves, there cannot be such a power within me. We think we're mere mortals. How can we have such a power, right? And it might be true. Like, I don't know where all this information is coming from, but I do know that the more I trust my intuition, the better I become at living in this world and realizing how to use this world to my benefit, right? And so it's really, really important as an INFJ that we learn how our intuition works. A lot of the videos I'm doing or going to do in the future are going to be about our intuition, our introverted intuition, the way we use our intuition, the way we kind of gather information, the way we use it to learn about the people around us or about the situations around us is one of the superpowers that we have. Now, most of us don't utilize the superpower because we mistrust it. We don't trust it. We think it's crazy. How can we know this? How can I know this? I don't know how I know this. I'm not going to believe that it's true. It's a wrong way to go about it, obviously, because it's basically like having a superpower and not using it at all. Why would you do that? Everyone wants a superpower. We have the superpower. Why aren't you using it? Okay. So my thing about using our superpower is to make ourselves trust our superpower more. I don't know if you can just kind of trust it right away, right going into it. I think it takes a little bit of time. I think it takes a lot of effort to trust our intuition. But if once you do trust your intuition, then there's so much bounty waiting for us. Like, there's so much good stuff waiting for us, right? And so I just want to make sure that you guys start trusting your intuition more and more. And one of the main ways that I've found it to work for me is to understand how it works. The more I understand it, the more I see it in action, the more I see that it's true, and the more I trust it, the stronger it becomes. I notice that the more I do all of these things, the better I become as an intuitive person. I really want you guys to use these techniques that I speak about as well for yourself. So start talking to yourself, start talking to your intuition about yourself, and ask it questions. How did you come to this conclusion? How did you know that this was true for this person? And then it'll explain it to you, or you will explain it to yourself on how you came to that conclusion. That might be the way it happened, might not be the way it happened, but just to understand it a little bit more, just to become more conscious of the process is so important for us to begin trusting our intuition and to use it to its full benefit. It's so powerful, and I think most of us don't use it to its full benefit. I think we just use it a little bit sometimes, and if it works for us, we use it a little bit more, but I don't think we use it to its full potential. And that's what I'm trying to do as an intuitive person right now. My main goal is to trust my intuition imperatively, without any mistrust, and to use it all the time. I want to use my intuition for everything, all the decisions I make. That's what I want to do. I'm going to use my intuition rather than, asking people or doing research online or doing all that stuff. I want to just ask my heart. I want to ask my body, my gut, and ask it, okay, what is the answer here? What should I be doing? And then trust it and move along with it. I think that's when my superpower is really going to come true. Again, I hope this makes sense to you guys. I hope that I was able to explain it to you guys. Sometimes, my thoughts move so fast that sometimes my mouth doesn't move fast enough for it. But I hope that I was able to explain it to you. If you guys have any questions at all, please message me anytime. All my contact information is in the description below. And if you guys want to private message me, I recommend you email me. That's the best way to get a hold of me. Or you can just comment below. I'm always here to listen to you guys, always here for you guys to message me. All right? I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.